get accepted into that space because they don't get compared to a desktop or a mobile phone. They get compared to, is it better than a printed page? The other category that we think is and will continue to be successful in this category is what we refer to as slates. Now, when I say slate, what I'm talking about is the category of slate, not to a specific product called slate. Everybody got that now? I'm not making an announcement. Have to make sure here that nobody tweets that I'm making some announcement from stage here. Slates, we define slates are those devices, larger piece of glass, no physical keyboard, touch-oriented kinds of an experience. And the slate categories also have a unique role in the space. The question comes down to is, what are the right characteristics? What are the right applications, the right screen size, the right online connectivity for it, and what are those going to look like? The question that I always get, though, is, okay, Phil, you've got all of these devices. How many devices is an average person going to carry? You know, you're talking about having a wide range of devices in the marketplace. How many devices will someone carry? And basically, if you go out there, and we've done the studies, we've talked to users, that we think that the average user is going to have 2 to 3 devices. More towards the 3 than the 2. And many of us have it already. You've got your mobile phone, you may have a slate form factor-like device already, and you've got a notebook or a desktop somewhere in your arsenal. What's happening, what we're going to see happen in the entire industry, is a whole range of devices that are going to fill out those gaps. Some will be successful, some will not be successful. Where the market and the industry is going is to deliver a full range of devices that allow an end user to pick the best 2 or 3 devices for their particular arsenal. So in this case, for some people, it might be a mobile phone, a slate, and a desktop. For others, it might be a notebook and a slate and a smartphone. Whatever the right combination is. Because think about it, today, if someone came to me and said, okay, I want a device that has a screen, a QWERTY keyboard, that has more than 15 hours of battery life, always on, always connected. Well, today, you'd be using a smartphone device. Palm Pre, Pixie, of course I'm biased now with Palm, right? But for instance, there's a product at HP we brought to the market called an AirLife, right? That's shipping with Telefonica. It's been shipping for a couple of months now through the Telefonica carrier network. It's a mini note, 20 hours of battery life, 93% keyboard, looks like a netbook, always on, 20 hours of continuous use. My AirLife goes for about 3 days between charges. So for the first time, you now have a viable alternative to the answer always being a mobile phone. What do those new devices become? The real objective, right, and the task that my team focus on is how do I get to this upper right-hand corner? How do I get off the line here? So how do I take products that have more richness and that have more mobility? And what are those trade-offs? And this is where we think, or we don't think, we know, and it's the reason why we did the acquisition of Palm, is to bring to HP the innovations around not only the richness from the standpoint of the applications and the application community that supports Palm and the web OS. You know, for those of you, I was a Palm user from way back, and had strong affection for Palm. But I can also tell you that since we announced our intent to acquire, even before the deal was closed, I've gained a new appreciation for the community that supports Palm and the web OS, from the application developer community, the homebrew community, and the support that they've given to those platforms. And part of our interest in Palm is to bring us that ability to take our products and transform them, both from a mobility perspective, but also from the overall richness. But again, the objective is how do we get to this upper right-hand corner? And I'm known as the gadget guy. I can't come on stage without having something to show off. So one of the things that we have been working on to get to this upper right-hand corner is this challenge of I can't fit a 50-inch display in your pocket, right? Haven't quite figured out how to do that. But one of the things that we are working on at HP, and I did bring a sample here to show you, is the work that we're doing on flexible displays. So flexible plastic display works, which we think was actually going to fundamentally transform the what device form factor is going to look like in the future from HP. So this is actually a flexible display. I brought two pieces, and I'll just lay one down here just so it makes it a little easier to handle. So this is actually flexible plastic display. This is actually a Mylar film. It's the exact same Mylar film used to produce flexible solar arrays. And at HP, we have figured out a way to literally print the display onto the Mylar. So this is the equivalent of the backplane of a display, literally printing the transistors onto the Mylar, and then we apply the actual elements to the top to actually project it. But this is a printed display, so it's what's called a continuous roll manufacturing, so we can literally print out, if you want a 40-foot display, we can print out a 40-foot display. You want a 100-foot display, we print a 100-foot display. And what it does is it fundamentally transforms what you think about from the standpoint of the constraint. Because today, when you think about form factors, and I talked about the fact of 7-inch screens or 3-inch screens for smartphones, with these kinds of technologies around the corner and the benefit of HP's R&D, the billions of dollars that we spend in research, the 450 PhD researchers at HP Labs to be able to do these kinds of fundamental technologies, and looking for the ability to bring these to market, these are the kinds of display technologies that will change what we think of as form factors in the future, both from Palm and Palm devices made with flexible displays, but also more mainstream, broad products made available from HP with these kinds of displays. This, a lot of people always ask about this display is these the kind of displays that you roll up and stick into your pocket and then you pull out? No, not in the first generation. In fact, if you can see it easily, you'll already see that this particular piece of Mylar has some kinks and bends and imperfections in it, and that comes from the constant rolling and unrolling, and I'm carrying it around in a protective tube. So first generation of flexible displays aren't flexible from the standpoint of the displays that you're going to carry into your pocket. But it does allow you to do some interesting things, such as literally wallpaper all the walls in here and they turn them into displays, covering desktops with these kinds of displays. And this display is actually a full color display, bistable, so similar to e-ink, but operates at full color, that you can also drive to full video refresh rate. So you can actually drive it to a full 60 Hz kind of a display from the standpoint of being able to use it. But we think with these kinds of ultra-thin, ultra-light, plastic kind of displays, the form factor space from the standpoint of how we traditionally think about form factors is going to be like nothing we've ever seen before.